Welcome. So this is daily attendance for February 15th. Hopefully you got your welcome video and screenshotted that, because that is a daily attendance and that counts for the first daily attendance of the term, which was February 14th. So if you have not done that, please do so at this time. So this is daily attendance for February 15th, and I will be assigning for this week your homework. Make sure that you click on your book icon or the link that's right underneath, and that's above. Okay, your book is above week 1 in your class. Okay, so make sure that you click either on the icon, it just depends on the class, or the link right underneath where it says ebook or Cengage, okay, to make sure that you navigate through your books. If this is your first term, make sure that you become aware of your class, and make sure that you become and you're able to navigate through your book. For most of you, this is possibly your third term, so make sure that you probably already know how to work your book. So I thank you. Welcome. Our class will be, as I mentioned, online. There is no meetings except for Teams meetings, and that will be about twice a term, depending on how I see that it is needed. We will usually have it on the 4th week, because it takes 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 weeks in order for me to create the classrooms, and then you hit midterm, and I just rather you do midterm at that point. And then so haven't really decided if we're going to have Teams meeting either on week 3 or week 4. This goes by really quick and fast, so make sure that you keep up with my videos. It is imperative that you watch all the videos, okay, because that's where I give the instructions. All right. So I will be advising you about Teams meetings as it approaches. You can communicate with me through Teams, so make sure that you download your app through Teams. I answer quicker and I answer faster, okay? If you're bubbling me, sometimes I can't get into my account, so there's no way that I can see it. On your messenger on top, there's a little bubble, that's what I call it. And or, of course, I will check my email, but I check it once a day. So if you email me later on that day, then, I'm not going to respond till the next day. So I highly encourage you to please contact me through Teams. If you don't know what that is, there is a Teams link in your classroom, okay, in your dashboard, and you can just click on there and you can figure it out. But it's like a regular app. You just download it and you communicate with me. You text me. I basically answer immediately, unless I'm driving or in the bathroom showering, or it's late at night. Be mindful when you communicate with me. If you communicate at 12 that you missed the assignment, I'm going to think somebody died, because somebody's texting me at that time. So be mindful, and if I'm up, I will eventually answer, but I prefer not to, okay? So I prefer not to get awoken, because it's very frightening at that time. I'm getting older, and so I go to sleep really early, okay? So be mindful of you texting at inappropriate times, okay? I will be texting you at times if I have a question. I would recommend that you answer immediately, because it probably has to do with a grade or something that I'm missing. And if you don't text me, then it's not until I do the grades again, and then there might be a delay in whatever it is, whatever discrepancy or whatever question I have. So please, I encourage you to answer me immediately if you can. If you cannot, then of course, as soon as you can. If you ask me a question and I do not answer, like let's say you sent me an email, all right, and I do not answer, unless it's the last day of the term and you're wanting to turn in all your assignments, okay, I won't answer at that moment, because you already missed all sorts of, I already told you, and nothing, so we can't do anything about it. But if I do not answer during the term, I probably missed it, or it was my intention to answer and I thought I answered. So I highly encourage you, and this is for life, if people do not answer, with politeness and being courteous, please, go back and say, hey, Miss Servín, good afternoon. Hope your day's going well. Always proper etiquette is always really good. I had emailed you previously, on this and this and that, and you didn't seem to answer. Do you mind, advice? Please advise, okay? So make sure that you follow up on that. Make sure that you always mention your name, okay, your class and your section. Class is like English 133 or business communication or English 144, okay? Don't tell me, oh, reading comprehension or whatever, or technical or English, I don't know which English. And the section is section A500 or A501. The more that you delay in telling me who and where you're at in my class, the longer that that me answering is going to take, or us resolving the issue that you have, because I don't know where you're at, right? And so I have usually close to 100 students, so I don't know what class you are, so I need to figure out what class you're in, and there's no way that I can know. So please make sure that you add that in there, okay? So this is for English. This is not for English. This is for English. This is for English 133. This is for English 145, and this is for business communication. Every single section has a 500 and a 501. I will do an initial message for everyone and then distribute in timestamps, right, what your assignment will be for that week, okay? I don't know if I mentioned Teams, but anyway, so we will be having Teams meeting, and as the time approaches, I will let you know. We usually have it in week 3 or week 4. So I will be having timestamps. If your instructions do not match your your book, right? Like, let's say you're English and I told you that there was learning activities, okay, or objectives. Learning objectives and learning activities, right, are only in business communication. There's activities in English, but those are called activities. They're not called learning objectives. So and it's like 1 through 18, and the other ones are tests, okay? So if the instructions don't match, that means that you're in the wrong book, which is highly unlikely because you're in the class, and usually the class doesn't have a wrong book. And or, okay, you listen to the wrong instructions. So make sure that you go back and reference the video, because that means that you didn't listen and you probably got instructions incorrectly. Now, life is about being a problem solver. And so part of being a problem solver, because you're not going to have people there telling you that's wrong, this, that, or you might, right? But it is important that you figure out things that sort of don't go, or sort of don't match, or sort of don't make sense, okay? Sometimes people are telling me, I can't find it, and I'm there and I'm going crazy. Well, they listen to the wrong instructions. So of course they can't find it, because in that specific book, that does not exist, right? There are no tests that I assign for business communication. There's only tests for, I believe, English 133. There are no tests for English 145, okay? And tests, I take them as assignments, some of them, okay? We will be having, your midterms and your final. I will tell you this, I usually have it a week before, so that way you focus on your final and your midterm. So please do not miss it. If you missed it, that means you haven't watched my videos. So please be mindful, and please keep up with the instructions. I don't ask for much. I upload on Monday and Tuesday, and you're set for the week, okay? I have excellent students that always tell me, hey miss, what's going on? You didn't upload. If I'm having if the upload hasn't come out, I'm either having problems, okay? How can I say this? Like having trouble with YouTube and it's not allowing for an upload, or for whatever reason, I haven't been able to record it and I'm having technical issues, okay? So just shoot me a text through Teams. Hey, miss, what's going on? I will usually tell you all, hey, I'm trying to upload. Sometimes I try to upload for a whole day and it still won't upload. So I try to get everything and all the uploads a day before, so that way there is, some leeway for any type of technical problems. If the upload is late, like let's say you're supposed to turn that in on that day, and the upload gets up at 1 or 2, and then 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then you have to turn it in at 5, well, I'm going to give you leeway, okay? It is imperative that you get your daily attendance in by that day. I do sometimes, or most of the time, leave it open for a day, okay? but it is imperative that you get it, because what's going to happen is that I'm going to count you absent for attendance, because we have to turn in attendance that day. And if you have regular classes and in-house classes, then that's fine. But since I have online, the only way that I can figure out who showed up and who didn't is when you upload it onto SU. Make sure that you comment on YouTube, and that you include in the comment my picture, so that way I can see the picture and see if it's the correct video that you viewed, so that way I know that you followed instructions correctly. So I need to get that in. So if you upload, like let's say, you're not going to get deducted if it's still open. If the link is still open, I don't deduct, okay? But if the link is not open, then you're not going to be able to upload. And I will not take daily attendance that's late. I have taken it in the past, but all it does is create a problem for me, because I have the people that tell me that they showed up even though they haven't, but because I allowed them to turn in late, then I can't prove it. So, it's sad to say, but that's why teachers get so lenient. That's why they get so strict, because, sometimes very few students abuse the system, and then we're put in a predicament where we can't prove what we said, okay? So I will not be allowing daily attendance late and anymore. And if you upload late, okay, like let's say you upload, like it's still open, but you uploaded it a day later, you will be counted late. You will get full credit for it, but in attendance, you will be counted as absent because you didn't upload it on time, because I have to meet the deadline because of policies and procedures. And remember, your attendance is tied to financial, okay? So if you don't show up, or there's problems, especially I believe in with your VAs, then that's gonna affect your finances. So be mindful. The other thing, if you will not show up to my class or any other class, make sure you drop it. If you do not drop the class, we cannot drop you. And so we need to keep on giving you zeros, okay? And it will go. And if you're just not showing up to my class, but you're showing up to the other classes, there is no way that I can that they will drop you, okay? Because you're still in the other classes, even though you're not attending mine. So what happens is that you don't show up, you're a no-show, and then I have to give you zeros. So what happens with that is that you're gonna have to come back and take my course, and you're going to have to pay the no-show, okay, because they will not drop you. So it is impaired, and it will affect your GPA tremendously, okay? If you get an A in one class and you get a 0 in mine, it will give your GPA a C, okay? So, just if you're not going to show up, I'd rather you go and drop it. I think you have like 2 days to drop it, so that way you don't have to pay for it, and that way it doesn't affect your GPA. So be mindful of that, okay? I cannot do anything, and I cannot drop you, all right? If you are failing my class, I will be calling you, and so make sure that you respond, okay? Don't respond last week 5, right, and tell me that you're sending all the work or whatever. So be mindful of that. There is a retention program that we have, and so, we want to help keep our students. That's what it's called, retention. It's not retention because you retained a class or anything like that. It's called retention because we're trying to retain our students, okay? But there's nothing like showing up to class. You made a commitment to yourself to get a degree, and so my class, even though a lot of people don't like it, right? General ed, it's an easy A, so enjoy that and use that to your favor, okay? Most of the classes, my English classes, are just a summary and a repeat and an overview and a review of whatever it is that you went through in terms of your high school. If you're a second language learner and you went to Mexico or any other place, I had a Russian student one time, and you did not study in the US, then I highly encourage you that you thoroughly go through your homework, and if you have problems, let me know, okay? Business communication is a little bit, you haven't seen it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Make sure that you check on your book and your book link. It is above week 1 in order to check your book, okay? It's usually the icon of the book, or there usually is a link right underneath that you just click on it, and then it takes you to the book. Make sure that you learn how to navigate through the book. Sometimes I make references about the book in pages, and they're wrong, okay? So just disregard if that's not it. I also will have, and I'm trying to get through all the classes. I think I have up to week 4, okay, or week 3. I have lectures for each week that you will be having. So for each chapter of that week, of that homework that you're going to have for, so like week 1, everybody's going to do chapter 1. And so I have within the link where you're going to upload your homework, I have a lecture on it. So you're not going to find the homework on there. The homework is going to be when I say it on YouTube, okay? So it's imperative that you understand that. So you will not find the homework on the chapter 1 links, which will be the upload where you can do it, but it will have a lecture on the chapter, okay? So I'm trying to get chapters for every single class. It takes quite a bit, so I think I'm through week 3 or week 4, okay? We will be having Teams meetings as the time comes up, so possibly week 3 or 4. I think I already mentioned that. Should you have, I do not accept late work, but let's say something happened, all right? You're going to have to go to the director's office and get it approved. I will not be accepting any late work myself. I tried to do that last term and it just turned out to be a mess, okay? Because whatever, it doesn't matter. So make sure that you go, and if you have some sort of documentation or whatever, take it to Miss Marcy, which is the administrative assistant for Mr. Rodriguez, who is our director. So make sure that you get it approved there. Once you get it approved there, make sure that you come back to me, and then it is at the sole discrepancy of the teacher. Let me say that again. It is the sole discrepancy of the teacher whether that teacher allows you to turn in your work or not. Okay, so even if the department director approved it, it is ultimately the teacher that approves it. Okay, so understand your position and understand that you missed it, and there might be very valid reasons, okay? But, part of the reason that there's these policies, procedures, and rules is because people take advantage of it. So for the ones that really need it, it becomes a little bit hard, but nonetheless, they're the ones that have all the paperwork and documentation, okay? So it goes to your teacher, and then your teacher decides or not. Should you get approved for whatever reason, right, that I allow you to turn in late work, which I do not, but I allow you to turn in late work, know that you will have a 25-point deduction. So if you turn it in late and you got 100, you're automatically going to get a 75, okay? Hate doing that, but I had some very complications last term, and I allowed a lot of people to turn it in, and I had some people still go and complain. I don't understand that, all right? So understand your position. You're asking for a favor, all right? So I think that concludes it. We're going to be going on to, this is daily attendance, February 15th, and I will be going on to homework, okay? Everybody's going to do chapter 1. This is due, we're going to do it on Friday, okay, midnight. So that way it gives you a whole week to sort of settle in, all right, and figure my class out. If you know my class, then that's great. So we're going to start with business communication, all right, chapter 1, and you're going to do questions 1 through 18, objectives 1.1 through 1.6, all right, and I'm not going to give you the page number because it's always wrong. So for business communication, A500 and A501, you're going to do at the end, you're going to find objectives 1.1 through 1.6. I think they're called learning objectives right before the keywords or something in your book, okay? And you're going to do questions 1 through 18. So that's business communication, all right? And then we're moving right along to English 133, A500, and A501. So this is English 133, A500, and A501. At the end of the chapter, you're going to read the chapter. And at the end of the chapter, you're going to do test 1, test 2 at the end of the chapter. You're going to copy and paste it at the end of the chapter onto a Word document. So you're going to copy and paste the question, and then you're going to copy and paste the answer onto a Word document, and you're going to upload that Word document onto the SU link on chapter 1 in week 1. Okay, so let me say that again. Read the chapter. It's test 1 and 2 at the end of the chapter, okay? And you're going to copy and paste onto a Word document. You're going to title the Word document homework chapter 1, test 1 and 2, and then you're going to upload onto that link. So moving right along to English 145, A500, and A501. You will read chapter 1 for English 145, and you will do, that book has activities, okay, and it has practices, and I think it has like tests or exams, okay? So you need to make sure that you understand which one's which. So this is, you're gonna do activity 1, 2, 5, and 6, okay? So you're gonna do activities 1, 2, 5, and 6, and you're gonna read chapter 1. You're gonna copy and paste the question and the answer onto a Word document, and you're going to title the document English 145, A500, whatever, your name on it, and you're going to say activities 1, 2, 5, 6, okay, and then week 1, okay, and you're going to upload that onto the link onto SU, all right? Hope that helped. Namaste, love and light.